All right. Last on the list, our final category of the night. We are not going to beat the Brutalist, but we did our best. Best actor. Dave, what do you got?
All right. So for best actor, I have Adrian Brody from The Brutalist, a huge movie and a huge performance in terms of time, but it is strangely understated. And the moments that are not understated end up being explained in the coda of the film. Obviously, I won't give any of that away because so many people have been able to see it, but truly, truly wonderful. Justice Smith from I Saw the TV Glow. Especially the screaming sequence, I guess we'll call it, is one of the best scenes of the year.
True horror right there.
Honestly, yes, absolutely, for sure. Keith Kupfer from Ghostlight, who I've mentioned a few times. Coleman Domingo in Sing Sing. Coleman Domingo, unsurprisingly, delivers yet another fantastic, beautiful, romantic, empathetic performance. No one does it like Coleman Domingo. Just the sequence where he is reaching out of the window, just that is enough to really get into the heart and the soul of that character. He is truly, truly a gifted actor. And then my last nominee is Josh Hartnett from Trap. I think he is genuinely
That's a great nominee.
Genuinely great in this movie. Again, you can have your complaints about the plot dynamics of the concert and all the I don't care. Shut up. I don't care. Josh Hartnett plays both a loving father and a demented killer perfectly in this movie.
I agree.
You believe him in every moment you're supposed to believe him. He is tremendous. And also, I found out he is the one who gave us the gift of Josh Hartnett with his shirt off in this movie. He is the one who went to M. Night and said, like, I'm just going to take it off. That was not M. Night's idea. That was Josh Hartnett's idea. And if I look like Josh Hartnett, I would demand no shirt for the entire movie. So the fact that he limited himself in that way, I think, is honorable for the rest of us. But no, I think Josh Hartnett, just a great, great, great performance. And I wanted to highlight him. I wanted to highlight Naomi Scott because I think sometimes horror gets short shrift. And I think it takes a lot of talent to create a memorable, great performance within horror because there are a lot of distractions in a horror movie. And Josh Hartnett manages this, as does Naomi Scott. So just wanted to give him his shine for a minute. He's really, really good. My winner is Keith Kupferer. This is from Ghostlight. This is one of the best performances of the last few years. There is a emotional arc to this character that is so real. I felt like I was watching a documentary. It's
so good.
There is, because a lot of this is about dealing with grief, dealing with loss, and he plays a character who's essentially a manual laborer, not a guy in touch with his emotions at all. And seeing him go from the beginning, this like ball of sadness and rage, to a man who opens his heart and soul to the world because of expressing himself through art. Yeah. Like all of us who love art, all of us who love theater, who love film, should watch this performance and be moved. And I certainly was. And talk about an unknown quantity. Had never heard the name before I watched this movie. Had never heard of him and never seen him in anything. And it is a movie that I have watched 3 times now this year. I keep going back to it, and it does not get less impactful. So Keith Kupferer, best actor.
And knowing that it's a real family in real life too.
Absolutely.
Like the meta component to it, I think, certainly adds something to it. That courtroom hearing scene, I guess it's like the courtroom meeting scene, whatever you want to call that as. It's hard to really one of the best scenes of the year. Keith Kupfer is also a nominee for me for all of those reasons. I also have Daniel Craig for Queer. I have Nicholas Hoult for really everything. But if I had to pick Juror number two, I think it's the best of the 3 performances of his that we've seen from him this year. I also have Sebastian Stan for A Different Man, maybe a career best performance for him as well. In fact, it might even be. My final nominee is also my winner. I'm giving it to Aaron Pierre for Rebel Ridge.
I love that pick.
Nice.
Yeah, and maybe again, like I talked about with Usha Simkim earlier, maybe not the most quote unquote challenging performance of this batch, emotionally speaking, but there's something about the character of Terry Richmond that just stuck with me that I could not stop thinking about. You know, we often talk about how actors, successful actors, are really successful because of what they're able to do with their eyes. Aaron Pierre's eyes don't just talk to us, they scream. They scream at us. And this is a performance that just made me nervous, making me believe what Terry was not just capable of, but what he was willing to fight for. I think why I'm giving him such an edge as far as a win here is that this really does feel like the making of a true movie star performance. Like, this really feels like the starting point of something big that should happen for this man's career. And if it doesn't happen, talk about your all-time backfires. If it doesn't lead to a massive career after this, I think he's so good in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say, no big deal. My review, the title of it is Rebel Ridge finds a stoic star in Aaron Pierre. So I totally agree with you. But I do disagree with you that this is not as difficult as those other performances.
That's true. That's a fair point.
I think in many ways it's more difficult to create a character like that we care about, that not only has those abilities, but has self-imposed limitations and still make us care about everything that's going on.
That's a good point.
It's a great performance. I agree.
It is.
Yeah.
No, I love it as well. Fantastic. And probably my number 6 or number 7 here. I mean, this is another deep category, and I love that performance as well. As far as my 5 nominees, so I also have Keith Kupfer here for Ghostlight. And while I do agree with you guys about that courtroom scene, it is a great moment of catharsis there for the character. I think my favorite moment of the film, one of the very best reverse shots of the year, is when he's on the stage and or I guess they're in rehearsals. This is like, you know, kind of leading up to the courtroom moment, I believe. And he's having a conversation with his daughter where she says, "You get to be him for a couple of hours." Oh, and the camera cut. I mean, it's a great line. Yeah. But the cut to him and the look on his face reacting to that moment. Star.
Yeah, it's really good.
Absolutely
really good.
breathtaking.
Yeah.
Love
and the
that
scene
moment.
in the garden earlier, like there's so many moments
so
with him. Just beautiful.
As far as my other nominees here, I have Sebastian Stan for A Different Man, Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, and finally, Daniel Craig for Queer. Those are my 5 nominees. My winner here honestly never wavered, as much as I love all of these other nominees, and they're really, really great. What Sebastian Stan does in A Different Man, though, is
kind of thought you were going this
phenomenal.
way. Yeah, it's really great.
Absolutely incredible. He gives a career best performance in this film. All due respect to his work in the other film that shall not be mentioned, that I am in agreement with Dave. I don't think it's very good. He's certainly great in it, but I think what he does in A Different Man is on another level. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love when a performance is understated. Have I talked about that before? Like an internalized, reflective kind of performance. Maybe I've mentioned that a few times.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
But there is something about the sorrow and the humiliation in his eyes in that film that is so palpable. I love the incessant discomfort that he embodies. It is quietly devastating, and how that taps into the film's themes on self-hatred and his identity, how that kind of forms as a result of all of that. It's stunning. It's really, really great work. It's phenomenally nuanced, and as much as I love the writing, and the writing is certainly one of the key factors of why I love that film, but Sebastian Stan certainly elevates it to a new level with his performance, and I think he gives the best actor performance of the year.
It's really great stuff. Really challenging stuff.
Yeah,
very,
absolutely.
Very challenging.
I just love what he's doing with his career. Like one of the few kind of people who made it big with the MCU, who's doing really gutsy stuff. Like it kind of reminds me of like the Daniel Radcliffe thing. Like he got his money, and he's just like, I'm going to do weird stuff. I'm going to do whatever calls to me, and I'm
going to do a movie where they strap guns to my hands for the entire run.
Or I'm going to be a farting corpse. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I
Yeah.
see, to a lesser degree, of course, like a less extreme degree, but Sebastian Stan is doing even movies that I don't like that he's in. He's doing really good work, and I'm excited to see where he goes next.
Challenging. Yeah, he's not doing the the Red Notices of the world, or the Red Ones of the world, or God forbid what other movie with red in the title.
Yeah, exactly. And what's going to be weird is that I don't think he's done playing the Winter Soldier either. So like we're going to see him back.
You can
in
do
the
both.
MCU.
You can do
can do both.
He'll be in Thunderbolts.
It's gonna be,
yeah,
yeah, it's going to be a little weird, admittedly, to see the Winter Soldier come back on the screen after watching this and be like,
I mean,
I love him, but I don't know if I want him in this movie now.
He'll have the long hair and the eyeliner and the arm. It's like, oh, that's that guy.
But he's
Okay,
always
whatever.
great as that character too. It's not like he ever phones it in. He's always
actually that's probably my favorite Marvel movie is Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So
yeah, that's up there. But a lot of it,
like,
now I think
great.
about it, it might be him. It might be like Sebastian Stan is kind of the reason why those Captain America movies, those first two at least, have such an emotional core to them. Like he brings something to them.
He's great. He's
a good one.
Really, really great. Yeah, and what he does with a different man, it just
it's
incredibly
beautiful.
evocative work.
Him and Pearson together are just gold. So yeah.
Gosh, I love that karaoke scene
Adam
so
Pearson,
much.
yeah. Oh, love that movie.